Today, we have been bringing together educators, university professors, college professors, and parks professionals to think about ways in which we can collaborate to turn public history into public art.
This workshop is a two-part series of an active collaboration between California State Parks and local, both community colleges and Sac State, where we're basically trying to bridge the gap between education spheres. We're hoping that we can get students engaged with parks beyond what they already are doing, and perpetuating a continuous relationship between the two.
This is phase one of our workshops. We met today. We got to know each other, put people in the room who hadn't been in a room together before. The funding comes from California State Parks broadly to think about how across 281 state parks we begin to incorporate more artistic production into parks, and that's defined in a variety of ways. But our project specifically looks at that intersection of history and then how history can be expressed through art.
I actually have wanted to be an artist since I could draw, since I was like 4 and 5. And I thought that's what I was going to be as I was a kid growing up. And it was art that led me into the world of natural history and cultural history. And so it is art that inspired me to the career that I actually have had in my life. And I know how important this is because it is a way to really capture imaginations, emotion, and connection. It's inspiring the public to bring themselves to these places. The work you are doing is work that we cannot do without. That's what you're doing. Thank you.
The majority of our parks are right here in the city of Sacramento and also West Sacramento. So they're urban parks, not exactly what people think of when they think of public parks. They're thinking of sort of vast acres of wilderness and camping, but all of our park units are museums and historic sites here. We'll be visiting over the course of these 2 workshops all 6 active park units. So today, of course, we're here in Old Sacramento, as you can see out of these beautiful tall windows. We'll also be touring the California State Railroad Museum. Ty will be leading that tour.
Our lives are made of railroad stories. I tell people that and they go, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I go, no, it's true. I mean, think about it. We talk in language metaphor. Right, we're always getting off track or derailed or trying to gather up a full head of steam. Maybe we accomplish a task, we go and blow off steam. We talk railroad full steam ahead. We talk railroad language whether we are conscious of it or not.
So today we started at the Leland Stanford Mansion, which was fascinating. So a place where a lot of current legislative events are held, and that was just really interesting. I'd never been in there before. And then we went to the Capitol, and actually I had never really been to the Capitol, I'm embarrassed to admit, so that was delightful to see, and lots to think about there. And then we came to the State Indian Museum and then Sutter's Fort.
With these workshops, we wanted to not only help you all get a sense of the resources in our parks and get to know us, but also be inspired in your own project generation and have a jumping off point for sort of the next steps going forward. And so we're so happy to have here today Kate Bickert, who's the Senior Director of Strategic Innovation for the Golden Gate National Parks Conservancy. And Kate has worked at the intersection of parks, art, and inclusive public engagement for over 2 decades. And she's going to show you so many amazing projects.
Thanks so much for having me. This is like exactly the group of people that I love hanging around with, people who are interested in this. I'm just going to take you through some of these that represent, all different kinds of art projects. So every type of sort of art form, from performative art to visual art, sculpture, public art, and also like different scales and different costs. And so I organize them into sort of categories that in some ways, they're not clean. These things overlap, but we'll sort of talk about projects where what I think of as like artists or art as problem solver for us in the park. The next one is like projects that address an important, timely, relevant contemporary issue and kind of help the public think about and engage in that issue. Weird and Wonderful Delights, I called them, which are just kind of giving people a new way of experiencing the place, of connecting to the place, the park, the nature, etc. And then projects that can really transform in the public imagination like stereotypical ideas about a place and tap into deeper meaning that can be illuminated by those places. So that's my loose categorization.
I hope that we're laying the groundwork for a good working relationship, and at this point, and in 5 years' time, I hope to see that students feel welcomed and involved beyond just their role as students at local institutions, that they feel like they have a sense of ownership and participation with the parks in their general area.
I think at the sort of smaller level, it's things like field trips, or if you want a guest lecture from a park staff member.
At the end of the day, it's about building a relationship where this becomes part of business as usual from the park side and from the education side.
Well, for me, I'm an artist, so I want art to be everywhere. I think the role of the artist in society is to, there are multiple roles, but one of them that I feel really strongly about is the capacity that artists have to help us kind of be awake in our lives and think about and bring intentionality to both our individual and collective decisions. And so in any context, really, if you can bring an artist in, an artist has the capacity to start dialogues or further dialogues that are already happening.